Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Painted Springs Garage YouTube channel. Today, I've got the escape in the garage because it's vibrating when I accelerate on the highway. I think it's got a worn out CV shaft. I know it's got a loose wheel bearing also. So let's get this pulled apart, see what's going on with it, and get it repaired. Well, this axle shaft isn't supposed to be in two pieces like this, so I expect they cause the vibration as much as anything. And actually this bearing on the drive shaft is pretty loose too. So I've got a new CV axle. I don't have this piece, so looks like I actually need to order a new one of these. This guy looks kind of expensive, so get one of those ordered. But in the meantime, we can get this wheel bearing replaced. So this guy, you can see, or maybe not, but I can see like it is actually loose just to the touch here. Not feeling real great. I felt worse wheel bearings, but this one is definitely loose. So this is a press-in wheel bearing, which means that I need to press it out of the back of this hub. Get some light on here. So I need to press it out the back of this hub and press a new wheel bearing into its place. And yeah, that should be exciting. Is that missing the snap ring? I don't see a snap ring in there. So, yeah, well, anyhow, we'll get that hub pushed out of here and then get the wheel bearing pushed out. Kind of looks like we're missing a snap ring here. Maybe that's why this guy is loose. But we'll figure it out. We'll get it fixed. So stay tuned here. So now that we have the steering knuckle off the car here, I need to bash the hub out from the back here. So the hub is hanging down there. This is one of my favorite tricks, by the way, to make a little like block thing here that I can jam my knuckle down into. And this shield, by the way, is going to get probably destroyed, but it's already destroyed. I'm going to put that together without the shield. But now this gives me a solid-ish surface that I can hammer from the top on, but yet the hub has enough room to drop down on the bottom. So let's hammer this guy out and get that wheel bearing out. Well, from the look of all the bearings shooting out there, I'm thinking that part of the bearing came off with the hub. And indeed it did. So yeah, that definitely had some water in it. And the other side is still certainly on here. So we'll have to press that off. All right, so I am not afraid to put wood blocks in my hydraulic press, but we are going to use a bearing separator here to separate this bearing race from the hub. And use the press to hopefully gently, smoothly press it apart. There we go. All right, got it off. So now that I've got the hub out of this bearing, and actually like quite a bit of the bearing came out with the bearing also, the next big step here is to get this retaining ring out of here. You can kind of see it's a little bit loose here. I've worked it loose by, there's a little eyelet here, and there should be an eyelet here, but that one kind of popped when I started trying to manipulate it. But I'm starting to get to break free from the edge up here, so it's almost out. I'm going to keep on working at it. Basically, just kind of putting a screwdriver in the head here and using a little hammer. Screwdriver and a hammer I know is not the right tool combination, but without having the eyelet there, I can't really use snap ring pliers. But I'm going to use a screwdriver and kind of work this loose, see if I can get another screwdriver behind this. And once I can kind of like work that whole thing to flip up out of there. But then we can push the rest of the bearing out from the back side. So let's get the snap ring out and yeah, get this bearing out of here. All right, so we got that bearing pushed out of here, and that really fought quite a bit. You know, it's kind of corroded in here, and it really hung up. I had to get like 7 tons of force, but then kind of tap it with a hammer to give it that like, you know, that shock to break it loose a few times. And one limitation of my press is that the width here is a little bit too narrow to push stuff like a wheel bearing through. But a few months ago, on the side of the road, my wife found where someone was throwing out some weights, and these actually make pretty good press adapters, it turns out. First time I've used them for that. And if you've watched my channel before, you've probably seen that anything can be a press adapter in an emergency. But these I feel actually are like safe and like legit can be used for this. So they worked really well. So now I need to get this cleaned up a little bit. We'll get our new bearing pressed in and get it back on the car. All right, so we got the new wheel bearing pressed into the knuckle here, and you can see that little ridge where the retaining ring goes. The wheel bearing's past that, so that's where we need it. It's actually bottomed out against the other side of the knuckle, which is perfect. So I'm gonna put that retaining ring back in, and then we can press the hub back in here, and then this is basically ready to go back on the car. All right, so I've got a new CV axle in here, and I've got my new wheel bearing in the steering knuckle in there with the original hub back in it. The only thing I changed here is I don't have the dust shield anymore because it was in really bad shape and wasn't good enough to go back on here. But I don't think I really need that. So, I mean, I don't really care if it's missing. As you can see, I get lots of mud and stuff in here. And keeping a little bit of dust and stuff off isn't going to make much of a difference for me. So anyhow, let's get this knuckle back on the car, and we'll get all this put back together. So that's all there is to it. Got a new wheel bearing on there, new CV axle shaft. I'm pretty sure it's going to take care of my vibration, but the last thing to do is just to get this out of the garage and take it for a drive. So thanks for watching. If you saw something that you liked or that I should do different, leave a comment. I tried to respond to as many of those as I can. Or like this video if you learned something or use it to fix your own car, and subscribe if you feel inclined to do so. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.